sun cast a shadow, a digital line is coming over the mountain and over your mind. Double down your Bitcoin, hang on for the ride. We're moving into the future, one block at a time. We're moving into the future, one block at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Coin, documenting the ongoing history of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And as always, I'm your storyteller, Jason Cassidy. Today's story is one of the most captivating you're ever going to see on the show, and for good reason. Blockchain has rebooted an idea that feels like its time has finally come. An idea so powerful, it has the potential to literally suck everything in its proximity into its orbit, physical and virtual alike. Imagine a realm where you can be whoever you want to be, and you can do just about anything your mind can conjure up. It's a concept that for years only existed in the arena of science fiction, fascinating people from across the globe. But today, it's no longer science fiction, it's science fact. This is the story of the Metaverse. There's a ton of background to unpackage here, so let's kick things off by first addressing what this all is. The Metaverse as a term has evolved over the decades, but generally speaking, it's a shared virtual space where people can interact with each other and their environment. This means playing games, watching movies, attending a class, buying virtual fashion, or even meeting up with friends to watch a concert that's being held within the Metaverse. The idea here is that if you can do it in the real world, you'll eventually be able to do it in the Metaverse. And you engage with your surroundings via an avatar, a digital reflection of your physical self. This is where the fashion part becomes relevant, but more on that a bit later. You can also buy land in the Metaverse, and being a landowner comes with some pretty serious perks. There are tons of Metaverses out there by now, each one having its own theme and catering to different people's interests, and they all treat virtual real estate a little bit differently. However, the basics here are that each Metaverse will have a limited amount of land to purchase, and once you own a parcel of land, you can build on top of it just about anything your heart desires. This means you can launch an online business here or deploy a cool scene to your land so that you can host an event. You can also become a digital landlord and rent out your land to others just like you can in the physical world. Or, if all else fails, you can choose to simply sit on your land and wait for that perfect idea to come along. In the Metaverse, there is no yearly property tax to pay, at least not yet. And this means you can do pretty much whatever you want, whenever you want. Okay, that's a solid primer on exactly what we're getting ourselves into here. So now let's talk about how we got to this point, because the Metaverse has roots that run pretty damn deep. But just how deep do they really go? Well, as it turns out, the concept of the Metaverse has been living in the realm of science fiction and fantasy for a very long time now. And when we look closely here, we can see how these early, imaginative seeds being planted have helped shape innovations that are now taking form, blossoming today in the Metaverse. Neil Stephenson played a major role in this via his popular science fiction novel titled Snow Crash, which was written all the way back in 1992. We are introduced to the Metaverse term here, describing a virtual reality shared by millions of users. A decade later, and we begin to see how ideas that are first scribbled down on a piece of paper began to become a little bit more real. And this is where Second Life comes into play. Launched in 2003, Second Life is a virtual world where users can interact with each other and engage in a whole host of activities, closely mimicking the real world in many facets. If you live and play in Second Life, then you are called a resident, and you will quickly find that there is an active economy built around the digital confines of Second Life. Its native currency, called Linden dollars, helps facilitate all the economic activity that takes place within this virtual playground. Just about everything in the physical world has a digital equivalent that you can buy in Second Life, including land, furniture, cars, art, homes, and the list just goes on and on and on. Taking a cursory look at Second Life reveals that it's less of a game and more of an experience that aims to serve as the virtual complement to the physical.
Second Life's different than a game because there isn't any goal. And it has the very unusual property that everything in it is changeable and in fact is created by the people who are there, not by us, the company.
Second Life really took off and eventually went on to become a global phenomenon, capturing both the attention and imagination of people from all walks of life. At its most active, it had just shy of 90,000 concurrent users, all living it up within its digital borders.
People were just being incredibly creative on this game. The software for this game, for Second Life, was open source. Second Life had its own in-world tools. This was an open world where people were creating and selling and doing all kinds of crazy things. So I definitely had to check it out. There was a lot of exploration and learning and just meeting people. It was pretty incredible that you could meet people from all over the world, and it just blew my mind. People would develop whatever it was that they wanted to see how they could stretch the boundaries, and that was fascinating to me. I learned how to 3D model, how to texture, Photoshop, and I got to put my marketing and merchandising experience to work in this world.
Around the time that Second Life was nearing its peak, another creation was making its way to the public, and this one made an even bigger cultural impact. Enter Minecraft. Launched on May 17th, 2009, Minecraft is a game of blocks. A lot of blocks. These are designed to be the building blocks of the Minecraft world. And while many people may not consider Minecraft to be a metaverse, it certainly helped prepare the public for a future where you can carve out your own virtual space and let your imagination run wild. While Minecraft continued to grow into one of the most popular games in human history, another major player in the online space was beginning to make some big moves. Moves that were in preparation for what they felt would be the future of social networking. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Facebook. In 2014, they spent $2 billion to acquire Oculus VR, a virtual reality gaming startup. Oculus was already gaining a reputation in the immersive VR technology field, so it made perfect sense for Facebook to expand its reach into the gaming sector, given its belief that the future of social media would be gamified.
When you put it into sort of perspective, what I think this is doing is it's redefining what social media is going to look like. And it's happening before our eyes right now. It's just moving in such an incremental fashion that we don't see it, right? Eventually, all of these things will integrate within Metaverse, so you'll use it as the unifying platform where you can have AI, social media, concerts, socialization, education, everything together as under one platform.
Most individuals and most businesses don't know what the metaverse is, and if they do, they don't know where to start.
People get lost in things like VR, and I have to put on my big glasses or some type of headset. It is simple, and it's existed for a very long time. So it began, we can say with Second Life or The Sims, and today to me, it is a 3D immersive and interactive experience. Glasses aren't required. They can help with the experience, but they are not required. So it's a very simple thing that anyone can be a part of. I think the fundamental reason why you should try it is it's a lot more fun than traditional internet is today. We're all social beings and we want to interact and actually participate with others. And the only way you can get at that is in an immersive experience like the metaverse.
Up to this point, the major developments revolving around the metaverse took place outside of crypto, but that was about to change. And that's because in 2015, two Argentinian founders began working on a rather ambitious project to create a metaverse built on top of one of the most disruptive technologies humanity has ever seen: blockchain. After 2 years of hard work, the duo of Ari Melik and Esteban Ardano were ready to debut their digital masterpiece, and they called it Decentraland. This took place in 2017, and it has the distinction of being the first blockchain-based metaverse to garner mainstream attention. Decentraland went on to conduct a highly successful land and token sale. They also enjoyed a prosperous launch of their metaverse and have since grown to become arguably the leader in the blockchain-based metaverse scene. There's so much to cover here, and the Decentraland story is such a fascinating one that we've actually dedicated an entire episode to it. So if you haven't already seen it, I highly encourage you to check it out after you're finished watching this episode. Having Web3 technology involved opened up the doors for what a metaverse could be and what it could do. First off, users could log in via their crypto wallets instead of the traditional username and passwords. Beyond that, the items that you owned within the metaverse, such as land, wearables, or digital fashion, currency, gear, you name it, they all could be held within your wallet. What this meant was you truly own your own in-world items instead of the company behind the experience. such is the case with games like World of Warcraft and Fortnite. It also made the prospect of things like interoperability seemingly more attainable. A future where you could start off your journey in one virtual world and end up completing that journey in a completely separate and unique virtual world. Your avatar would carry over, and so would your items. You would simply look different based upon the graphical representation of that metaverse. And as you might expect, all these possibilities got the attention of some pretty big names. Names like Animoca Brands, who in 2018 acquired Pixel Owl, the gaming studio behind the Sandbox Metaverse. The Sandbox has since gone on to become another titan of the crypto metaverse scene, drawing in some major companies and celebrities to host events and build out their own attractions. Much like Decentraland, the Sandbox is also built upon the Ethereum blockchain and has its own native ERC20 token called Sand. Visually, the Sandbox feels a bit like Minecraft, but when we take a closer look, we can also see that there's some key differences as well. You can own land and build upon it using a robust suite of tools made available by the Sandbox. There are also a seemingly endless amount of engaging events taking place, and with big names popping up weekly to build their metaverse headquarters in the Sandbox, you can see how this could become a pretty big thing one day in the future. The Sandbox is a fascinating story that has a deep history to it, so much so that, wait for it, yeah, we created an entire episode around this story as well. It's a heck of a ride, so I highly recommend that as soon as you're done watching this episode, well, now you know what to do. Once the 2020s officially kicked off and we were in a new decade, life got a little bit weird. Like really weird. The COVID-19 pandemic changed everything, including how we worked and how we played. With people now spending much more time indoors, this naturally lent itself to one becoming more curious about the latest technical innovations, if for no other reason than to find a way to stave off boredom. Crypto, and specifically the metaverse, was a major recipient of this newfounded interest. More and more attention began pouring into the sector, helping spur a new bull market in crypto that went completely bonkers by early 2021. So it's not surprising that around this time we saw some major players in the gaming world take notice of this trend and decide to get involved themselves. Epic Games, the creators of the immensely popular Fortnite, made their metaverse intentions known when they raised $1 billion to expand their reach and build out their own version of the metaverse. If you wanted to add fuel to an already raging crypto fire, then you would need a top technology company to make a major announcement. Well, remember all the way back in 2014 when Facebook acquired Oculus VR, making a major push into the future of immersive technology? On October 28, 2021, the metaverse industry received a gargantuan-sized endorsement when Facebook formally announced they were rebranding themselves to Meta.
To reflect who we are and what we hope to build, I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
They went on to explain their rationale behind the move, in large part due to their belief that in the future, almost everything and everyone would eventually call the metaverse home.
The metaverse means a lot of different things to different people. Certainly over the last 2 years, I think it has become this marketing term that was really became popularized when Facebook decided to do the biggest pivot in financial business history by changing their name to Meta and placing a fairly big bet on this.
They clearly see a future where social media evolves into a place in the metaverse, and they want to be the ones that set that trend opposed to following along behind someone else. Despite all the hype that's generated, by the time the calendar flipped over to 2022, it was fast becoming obvious that this bull market was running out of steam. By the summer, reality had firmly set in, with prices being down across the board for literally everything. However, in the build-up over the past few years, a ton of metaverse projects had launched, giving people ample choice when it came to how they wanted to spend their time and money. Names like Somnium Space, Aftermath Islands, High Street, Superworld, Star Atlas, Blocktopia, and many more were now all working away at creating their own version of the metaverse. The metaverse became so popular in crypto that it actually managed to carve out its own niche within the industry, with virtual real estate and metaverse coin investors all looking for ways to expand their digital horizons. Heck, I even got involved and ended up founding the world's first metaverse real estate company with the immensely talented Michael Gord back in 2020. Today, despite the fact that we're in a bear market, the metaverse narrative just keeps moving on forward. Meta clearly thinks there's still something to this because they've been hinting at some pretty big things coming down the pipe recently as well. I do have some mixed feelings about people spending more time with technology and less with nature and the physical world. I was born at the very beginning of the 1980s, so half my life has taken place without social media, smartphones, or even the internet. I'm also practical enough to appreciate that, well, things do change over time. So as long as we as a society make a concerted effort to strike the right balance between technology and Mother Nature, then yeah, I think the metaverse has a bright future. A future where you can put on a VR headset, hop into the metaverse, and take in a lecture from your professor with all of your friends in attendance. That is going to be a lot more engaging and rewarding than staring at your assignment on a laptop screen while you struggle to keep focused and awake. This is simply a more interactive way of doing things online, whether it's education, shopping, or even building an online business. So, if you've been sitting on the sidelines so far, then it may just be time to change that and take a closer look at what could be the future of potentially, well, everything. I hope you enjoyed today's stroll down memory lane. Until next time, have fun and enjoy life, my friends. I'll be back soon with another incredible story to tell you.